Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 185. We're a podcast that talks about pop culture things that interest us. And sometimes there is whiskey. My name is John, and I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
Good to see you after a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for the regular show, absolutely.
hmm
We managed to sneak on here for those that are really following us last week for anime podcast, Ohio
Yep.
Anime. So if you're good opportunity to tell everybody about that. Ohio Anime, different YouTube channel, same podcast
Mhm.
service. So can follow us there.
Same wonderful people.
That's right. And then last night we did a live
Mhm.
stream that will just be live on YouTube here for Andor. We mostly focused on season 2, but we had Pete and Dustin back on to talk about that. So
Oh,
if you are
fun.
interested in Andor, make sure you check that out. And
Did Dustin take a victory lap? I mean, it's well earned. He
I
was trying to
thanked
get
him.
you to watch Andor so hard. Like he tried
Mhm.
so long and you finally
I
did it.
I gave him credit. I gave him credit right
Good.
up top. So yeah,
He earned it. He deserved it.
that's
He
right.
really poked and prodded at you for a long time.
Phil's sitting somewhere listening, like, God, why can Dustin do it? Yeah,
That's right. Phil is forming a new grudge as we speak
yeah,
right here.
right. So yeah, we stuck to our sort of hour and a half sort of thing, and there's a lot of ground we didn't cover. So I said,
Sure.
like stick around if we want to talk about season 1 when you're done. I'd be happy to
Yeah.
do that. If we want to cover again season 2 in because if you take it all in one big chunk, you can't really break it down too much, or it takes forever. So
hmm
we want to do chunks for season 2 or whatever. If you're interested, that's great as well. But
Heck
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it's a tough time right now. I mean, I know you just kind of got done with your busy season in the field, and we're over here kind of in a busy season with like the coming end of the academic year. Chris is all tied up and wrapping up school, and I actually have students that I supervise, so I was kind of tying up some projects and things like that. So it's been
yep,
hard to like find the time to watch, something mutually and as engaging as Andor, but hopefully as we head into the summer, we can get back at it.
cool. All right. Well, let's give everybody a little rundown. What's happening tonight? Tonight's going to be focused on James Bond, Dr. No in
Mhm.
particular. We read the novel. It's been a while now.
Yeah.
uh, so
I
hopefully,
still do. I still remember enough of it that when I watched the movie, I was like, this is different.
yeah,
Or if I couldn't tell exactly what the difference was, I was like, I know this is a little bit different.
yep. I mean, I finished the book. I don't know. It was late last year or something like that, I
hmm
suppose. And I actually, after watching the movie now again, I
hmm
read a quick kind of Cliff's notes of the book just to remind
Sure.
myself anything I might have forgotten. So,
Sure. Yeah. I think I finished the book early this year, like maybe Jan, Feb, March, something in there.
yep, perfect. So we'll be getting into that, talking about the differences, what we thought of it,
hmm
what it's like going back to the film and all that sort of thing. We'll talk about what we've been watching in our absence,
hmm
and we're gonna kick things off with our drink holidays.
Yeah, there's quite a few since we've had our little spring break from our last show. And I'm not going to run them through in calendar date order. I'm going to
Mm,
group them by types of alcohol because I feel
okay.
like I can do that. So, if you are a person who would prefer to celebrate with a glass of wine, we have 3 different kind of similar holidays that happen in May. May 2nd, it was International Sauvignon Blanc Day. May 20th, just yesterday, Chardonnay Day. And then on May 9th, so kind of in the middle of those two, was World Moscato Day. I don't know about you, but I always picture Moscato as a white or maybe a rosé. So they all
Yeah.
felt like
Sure. Yep.
pretty
Summery wine.
tied together. Yes, definitely like we're headed into warm weather, let's go sit on the patio with a glass of white, probably not red. Although Minnesota's like, haha, gotcha. It is not warm right now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But if you are, if you bought it in anticipation of patio days or you're dreaming of patio days, then yeah, a plethora of white wine holidays for you. If you still like a good patio drink, but you're not into wine, you can choose a beer because May 7th, it was Homebrew Day. For those of you who are out there, that takes time, dedication, and ingenuity. So congrats to you. I don't think I could do it. We had a couple friends who used to, and I don't think they're quite back into it because that takes a lot of time. But made some good homebrews in their day. Otherwise, it is a whole week of American Craft Beer Week that happened on May 12th through the 18th. So that just ended a couple of days ago. So you can choose any American craft beer if that's your drink of choice. If you're into like a breakfasty type of cocktail, it was National Mimosa Day on May 16th. And also, I feel like this is kind of a breakfasty cocktail, or you could get away with it. 5/7, May 7th, it was Cosmopolitan Day. So it's like vodka and cranberry juice and a little bit of Cointreau. That feels like you could get away with that at breakfast.
It's strong.
It's a strong breakfast, but it's not that different from like a vodka orange juice or a vodka cran.
Right.
So, which are breakfasty juices. So I think you can get away with it. Otherwise, we have a couple more general holidays. It was World Cocktail Day on May 13th. So anything, pick your poison. You can do whatever you'd like to, including celebrate with a famous particular cocktail on May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, which I did at the time, but I am not doing so tonight. And finally, a day made for our podcast, World Whiskey Day, May 17th, just 4 days ago. And I know our producer, Alan, is celebrating with a glass of whiskey.
Oh, nice. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah, I got a little sneak peek cheers before the show. So enjoy your Templeton.
Ah, yes. Well, last I recall, you had quite a few bottles of Templeton. So you got to start making your way through that. I feel like it was the stockpile. 3 and change, exactly.
Good Lord.
Yep. Okay, well, very nice.
Yes. Whew, I made it.
Yeah, you are freezing occasionally for me, so we'll see how that works out here.
Okay.
So bear with us, people, if there's any momentary audio pauses. What are you drinking tonight then? Are you celebrating one of these things?
I am, again, because there's lots of general ones.
Catch-alls, yeah.
Yes, I am celebrating a catch-all World Cocktail Day. And I am celebrating with a cocktail from our movie.
Okay. From the movie, I mean, there was definitely a martini, a vodka martini. Remember that one? And, looking at other ones, I don't really, I was trying to think back at other cocktails that they had in this movie, and felt kind of light. He had a bottle of vodka, and then he's like, oh, that one's might be poisoned. So that went aside and exchange it for another bottle of vodka. Yeah. So I'm going to guess a vodka martini.
Indeed. You are guessing correctly, sir. I thought about grabbing just a random glass of red wine, Justice for Honey Rider. But no.
That's right.
I decided to do exactly what, where Dr. No hands them their drinks and he just assumes that's what she's going to have. After rattling off this more complex order for James Bond.
Yep. Yeah, that was basically his
Um,
Vesper then.
so yeah, I decided to do James's. It was a medium dry vodka martini with a lemon twist,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
shaken not stirred. He
Yeah.
did specify that too.
hmm hmm Well, maybe he knew Honey Rider's tastes as well, and it was red wine.
Maybe, maybe.
Yeah. So okay. Well, very good. All right. Excellent. Um, I have a kind of cool looking drink here. I guess
Looks
it's
very
not.
tropical, very
Yeah, it's
island.
not in the movie. What I was doing is I was looking at some of the drinks from the novel. I certainly couldn't remember them from when I read it, so I was
Oh,
like
sure.
looking them up, and it wasn't overly impressed. There was like uh bourbon again, bourbon on the rocks at one point. There was
Yeah,
gin and tonic. That was
of
so I,
course.
I considered that one. It's like, well, you go to that one a lot, and I'm honestly not sure if I have tonic water right now. So I found someone that online was kind of asking the question, like, what drinks, do people suggest for watching a Bond movie? And this one guy for the movie Doctor No suggested a drink called the Jungle Bird, and it's got because the movies takes place in Jamaica. The idea is
Hmm.
he named James Bond after an ornithologist, so it's got
Nice.
Jamaican rum, Campari, pineapple juice, lime juice, and I did not have time to make the fancier Demerara syrup. I
Oh,
just used
sure,
simple syrup, but
sure.
yeah, that's what I've got. It's like perfect. We got the Jamaican James Bond rum in here.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Wow.
So
Cheers.
yeah, Sagrona. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's really
it looks
good.
refreshing.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I should add that one to my regular rotation or something. Go to for guests.
Yeah, I really got to get into like a good rum drink. I just
There it is.
yeah.
There it is.
I struggle with rum. So,
Yeah.
I got to
Well,
find something I enjoy.
do you, do you like pineapple on cocktails?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. See, I think pineapple is one of the best fruit mixers. I mean, obviously there's all kinds, but pineapple juice that just goes with so many things.
Mhm.
I love it. Adds a tropical flair to anything. And then this has the Campari in it, so you get the bitter. So you're
Sure.
gonna have rum, but you have
So it's
something
not too
bitter,
sweet.
and yeah, very good. Like it. Jungle Bird.
Jungle Bird.
Okay. Well, cocktails out of the way. Let's get
Mhm.
into what we've been watching other than Doctor No.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of light stuff, some backgroundy things because like I said, Chris and I have both been incredibly busy. But we did start some things that we both enjoy and can kind of work to. Um, we've been watching this particular show for a long time and we forgot they had just dropped their fourth season. So we're catching up on that. It is the American version of Ghosts, which is hilarious,
Mm,
much like the American version of The Office uh, is also hilarious, as is its British counterpart. So I enjoy both,
yeah.
but we particularly enjoy the American version.
Okay. I was to say, how big of you to like enjoy both the British and American version of The Office? Yeah, I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people like. They choose sides.
I mean, yes, if you prodded me, I would choose the American version because it's the one I was introduced to and I just like resonate with it more. But
Mm,
I don't think like the British one is not funny.
okay.
It's just like you can't like watch them directly and compare them because the
Sure.
humor is so different. Like they will be unfunny if you watch them too close to each other, I think.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Cuz I had that with like a British show that Chris was watching and it was like about like this political crisis and doomsday and like it just like I had just come off like an American style comedy show like kind of similar and I just wasn't resonating with it. So I just sort of like took a break and then came back and like was ready to get into the British style humor. And it was funny.
Okay. I've been wanting to get back to Taskmaster for like background fun
Oh,
television.
yeah.
I still
for
really like
sure.
that. It was a good,
Sometimes background television can be quite lovely.
yeah.
It can be
And I
really
like,
fun. You don't have to choose like mind numbing crap.
yeah, it becomes, the show drags me in a little bit more than background television should sometimes. Like I'm a little too, it's too funny to not pay attention to completely.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. Okay. Very nice. Ghosts.
Same with ghosts. Like, it's like, the memes you see around where like people start cleaning and they're like, oh, I'll just like put a movie on. Like I'll watch Lord of the Rings and clean my living room, and then suddenly they're just like stopped in front of the TV. Like, yeah. Sometimes that happens, but still.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're about halfway through season 4 of Ghosts. Really excellent. Cannot recommend it enough. Another fun kind of show we're watching together is Castle Impossible. It's about a couple who inherits a French chateau, which is a lovely, it's a lovely wedding venue, and they're, generating revenue from that as well, but they're trying to like renovate the entire thing, potentially make it livable either for themselves or for wedding guests. Yeah, it's fun. It's, it's home renovation, but like to the millionth degree because it's this huge place.
Yeah, man. Yeah. See, I think about that. It's like, it'd be really cool to have a castle. But the
It's expensive
repair
to have a
costs,
castle.
the repair costs, because you don't want to cheap out. You don't want to be like, well, this, because I saw that on a Ghost show. They were investigating a castle, and then it's filled with like, there's like folding chairs and stuff in there. It's like, well, what are we doing here?
Right.
This is
Feels
not
sad.
acceptable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. Like on the one hand, you don't want to feel sad like folding chairs in your castle. And on the other hand, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to put new windows in, this one floor. And it was like $80,000 just for this one corner of rooms. And I was just like, what?
Yep.
So, it is hard, but it's not my money. So it's a lot more fun that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something else.
What service is that on? Sorry, what service?
Oh yeah, no. So it's on like whatever, like HGTV, but then it's on Max as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I know I'd seen it advertised. I didn't remember where. So okay.
Yeah, for sure. Something else fun I just watched is Practical Magic, also available on Max because Practical Magic 2 is coming out. I'm so excited. This came out of like nowhere. I did not have any warning that this movie was coming out. And they were like, bam, September 18th, right close to my birthday next year. So freaking pumped.
So is this an older movie you've told me about before?
Okay. Nice. Yes. It's it's like from the 90s. And it's Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, who are sisters and they're witches. Yeah. And they get adopted by their aunts, Diane Wiest and Stockard Channing. Oh, God, it's so good. It's like, it's amazing. I love it. And it's like the quintessential, like, witchy girl movie. I would think. I'm sure there are people out there who would challenge me, but it's so good.
Well, now we know we really have to cover it for Halloween during Halloween season sometime here.
Yes.
So
yes, because I can't freaking wait. Yeah. Other than that, if I was moving away from lighter fare, dipping into my dark side, I watched the most recent episodes of Last of Us season 2, episodes 4 and 5, which are top quality. I do. I really like it. I think they got into a little bit of more action and some kind of side story lines, side characters, which have dipped away, I think, from the criticism of, Ellie, the main character, isn't exactly how she is behaving in the game. So I think it works for now. And again, I think they have to circle back and address some of that, even as someone who hasn't played the game. I understand where the criticism is coming from, so I hope they go back. But it's been good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what was interesting is it went from season 1 where I heard very few people not like it, and now
Mhm.
season 2 I've heard so many people say it's just fallen off a cliff. So, but
It's
maybe like the games, it's like everybody loved the first one, and then part 2
yeah.
was split. So yeah.
I think there is a major event that happens very early on that I know a lot of people weren't expecting to happen so early.
Okay.
And that was very divisive. I also loved and hated it in equal measure. And I could see being split either way.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, heard they recently said they're going to need, I think, 4 seasons to wrap it up.
Hmm.
4 or 5. They needed an extra season than what they were initially planning. It sounded like.
Okay.
So,
I hope it's 4. I
I
can't
think that's what it was. There was.
I can't honestly see it going for 5. Like I again, I like it and I think it's great production quality and it's been good storytelling. Again, if you're looking for it to be the exact same, it's just not going to be as the game, but I think like 4 seasons would be solid, 5 would be stretching.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had this podcast, so I've gotten quite a lot of things watched. I've finished Andor and then went right
Mhm.
into Rogue One, which
You'd never seen Rogue One?
no, I had.
Or this was a this was a
It was a
rewatch.
rewatch. Yeah, it's a rewatch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was like very shocked about this.
No, Rogue One came out in the like hopeful days of, it's like, oh, hey, maybe this is gonna turn out with Disney buying Star Wars. Maybe it's gonna work out all right.
Rogue One was good.
When I liked it the first time I saw it, and I
Yep.
liked it again. Yeah. So, but it's very interesting going from Andor to Rogue One,
Sure.
and I won't go into that until you're there too. But
Sure.
I'll just say, like, if nothing else, television really has changed the way we absorb stories, because it used to be that, look, television, you only had a limited budget, so you had a certain kind of shows, and you'd have your cop procedural cop shows, you'd have your comedies, whatever, but your hardcore storytelling, serious drama, anything like that was left to the movies. But we get now with a television show the ability to just change the pace and detail of how we tell stories. Whereas a movie, really, I know they're trying to stretch it. It's like 3.5 hours, sit in that seat for that movie, but really compact thing. And they're different crafts. And so it feels different when you move from television show to movie, even though they tried to treat each 3 episodes like a movie in the second season of Andor. So, yeah. Yes.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get into that someday. Mobland, I'm still watching Mobland on Paramount Plus, which is still excellent. It's like a cliffhanger every week. The cast is always superb. There's a particular character in there is just causing so much trouble, and I wish that person was dealt with. So, but it's top notch. I am the first 3 episodes into Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, just an animated thing that came out starting on May the 4th. Ashley finished White Lotus season 1, and I happened to be there when she was starting season 2, so I started that with her, and I kind of wanted to watch that one for sure because a potential Bond candidate, Theo James, is in there in season 2.
Oh yeah,
White Lotus. So we watched the first 3 episodes of that.
Okay. How are you liking it?
It's good. Yeah, it's like here's a whole bunch of probably not good people put together in this resort, and they're in Italy in this one, and you just want to know what happens to these people. It's it is well done. It's intriguing. Everybody's little personal drama they got going on, and
Sure.
it's like fun the way they try to like. They really are trying to like find different stereotypes of people of all different sort of walks of life and like poke at those things a little bit and see
Mhm.
how they interact with one another. Like there's these two couples that they're talking to each other, and it's kind of sort of that thing, like, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with, where you talk to someone and like you say something expecting them to nod along and then they don't, because they see the world different. They're just sort of
Mhm.
living in a different plane. And it's like, so it's trying to coordinate that, like, how do we meet on the same plane of existence to talk about something in common, you know?
Sure.
Like someone keeps saying, like, well, given the way the world is, and then it's just kind of blank stares from the other couple. Like, what do you mean what do you mean the way the world, like, right now? So that's fun, and there's different there's all different family dynamics, and it's it's cool. It's different. So
Okay. Maybe we'll meet one day. I watched the first like 2 episodes of season 1 a while back just because
okay,
season 3 had come out and everybody was, that was kind of like the water cooler show of the moment.
sure,
So I was thinking like, oh, I should watch that. I'm looking for something to do on Max, and yeah, liked it, just like didn't quite get any further because other
yeah,
things took over. But we'll see.
yeah. I appreciate that this is what more television needs to do. I think is that they um in video games too. Like, you have a season, you try to put it out there, reasonable budget that you can make money on, hopefully. But if it does well enough, make a season 2 and then make a season 3. And like, if you keep the quality consistent, do your audience grow? And that's like, I hadn't heard of White Lotus probably until season 3.
Sure.
It like never entered, my whatever. And then there it was. It's like, okay, well, it's been consistent quality television for a while, like that I can go back to now or whatever. And now it has a much larger audience than it did initially because they just stuck with it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I remember hearing about White Lotus after its first season because Jennifer Coolidge, I think, got some recognition for it. So I was like,
hmm,
huh, I didn't know she was in a new show. That sounds like an interesting title. And then, yeah, hadn't thought about it again until season 3 when everybody was like, oh, so good. And like, Jason Isaacs was crazy, like, as he is.
yeah,
So,
nice,
yeah, decided to go back and try it out.
very good. So that's that. And then I should do a proper review of it sometime. So I'm not going to do it here. I'll just say that I finished Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It's a little while ago, but I finally got done with it. I saved a few clips from it. It's a fun, good Indiana Jones experience, and I think they did a really good job making a unique game that really feels like an Indiana Jones game and not just something else. So,
It's
yep, bravo.
important.
Yeah. Bum.
Well, we've been busy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a lot of his stuff like was before. Yeah, it's been a while. Like a lot of the Indiana Jones, that was before farm work and stuff. So it's been a minute. But we should talk about the
Speaking
main
of
topic tonight.
things, yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of things that have been a minute.
Yeah, right. This book here, Doctor
Yes.
Gnome. This is the version I read.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I
You have
love
like
these.
a fancy lady on the cover. I don't even know who that's supposed to be.
I have no idea who that's supposed to be either. But she's
It's
sitting
definitely
on
not
like a.
Honey Rider.
I don't think so. She's sitting
No.
on a golden 1911, and she's
Hmm.
wearing a full dress of like tiger print.
Yeah,
Or
like a caftan moo kind of dealio.
yeah, I guess it's not tiger. From this way, it looks more orange and looks more tigery print, but it's really not.
Sure.
It's like pink and black and whatever. But yeah, you're right. Like some sort of big moo thing. It's not great, but I do love these
It's not great.
these old printings. I
Yes.
if I can get these, I absolutely try to pick these up. So
Sure.
that's the book copy I read, and then I watched the movie off of a physical DVD.
What?
This one came in a
Speak to me of this technology.
yeah. This one came in a cool box set that was like
Okay.
filled with 7 random James Bond movies that I got back when I was a kid or whatever.
Sure. I had one
And
of those.
yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
because I think
I did not have
it,
DVDs though. We had like videotapes. I mean, I did like when
ah,
I was older, we had DVDs also. Like we bought like a collection and stuff, but I remember when we had random videotapes.
there's a
Ooh,
actual booklet inside. You know,
that's
back when they
fun.
had that sort of thing, you could read about stuff in the movie. How cool is
Yes.
that?
Love it.
So, yeah.
Who was that dude next to Bond?
And this was Dr. Noah's in there. He's in his suit, his plastic like,
Oh,
hazmat kind of suit.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
He looked vaguely Frankenstein-y because they were like, because it's like the plastic stuff was like had lines across it and like
Yep.
wrinkles and stuff, and I was like, what is that? But
Yeah,
yes,
and he's
totally.
like Connery's wearing it almost look like a top hat. So it's like this is a different
Yes.
movie that's
Yeah, he looks way different. Okay, but no, I'm all caught up with you now.
yeah. So, anyways, Dr. No, the first Bond film, but
Mhm.
I don't know, the 7th book or something like that. Whatever. I really didn't keep track here, but
Yeah, it's
I
somewhere in the
definitely
5,
lose
6,
order.
7 range.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm. I've lost track how many we've read already.
it's
And their
quite a
order
few.
exactly. Yeah. So I should have brought them on here. Whatever. But what do you think? I mean, first let's start with the movie because I think we both came to the movie first, right? We both saw the movie
Agreed.
before we read the
Yes.
book. So how have you always thought of the movie? And
Sure.
did that change at all with your most recent viewing?
Sure. Yeah, so I think maybe Dr. No was somewhere around my 3rd or 4th James Bond movie. Um I did understand that it was like the first when I first watched it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah.
I watched it like knowing like this was supposed to be the first one. I did not see it as the first one. Um but it was it was one of my early, I think it was maybe my second Jane no, sorry, not James Bond, Sean Connery movie. Because I think I saw Goldfinger before I saw Dr. No.
Okay.
So yeah. So I think back then, a lot of things about the movie already felt familiar. Whereas this time when I watched it thinking like, what if this was the first James Bond movie? I was like trying to think about like things that would be new to audiences. And I was like, oh,
Mm,
interesting. Like, I don't know if I would have picked up on this as like a James Bond thing or like, like my brain was kind of filtering things that I had read from the book and being like, oh, that's a really interesting detail because I've read the books. Like, your average viewer is not going to know that. Or like, picking up on here's the James Bond theme. Oh my God, it's everywhere. Like, why are they doing that? Whereas, a first time viewer would have been like,
yeah.
this is the score of the movie.
Right.
So yeah, so it was definitely a different experience watching it this time. I don't think I found like more major flaws or on a rewatch, I was like, oh, I really don't enjoy it as much. It was just a vastly different viewing experience this time.
Okay. Yeah. I was kind of looking at it that way too a little bit. Like if this was the first Bond you saw, you're around when it came out, like how would it greet you?
Mm-hmm.
And because I definitely did not see it first either.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you at what point I saw Dr. No in the order of
Sure.
other Bond movies.
Yeah, and I was making educated guesses, but it was early-ish and,
Mhm.
An early one that I saw of Connery's, but not my first in any sense.
Yeah, Doctor No, the movie never really left much of an impression on me. Like, it's not
Mm,
one I revisited a lot.
sure.
Um, yeah, I just I can't say I had a great appreciation for it. I remember being quite young and seeing Doctor No and have him crush the thing in his hand, and that was cool or whatever. But that was,
Hmm.
that was kind of it. That really. So watching it again now, I enjoyed it quite a bit more. Especially
Mm,
like I'm comparing often these to the other Connery movies,
hmm.
um, because I found myself recently appreciating the Connery movies less. Like these movies,
No,
yeah, like
sacrilege, John.
that's just yeah, it's the way things change. My tastes in Bond films have really fluctuated throughout the years a lot.
Sure.
There are some like mainstays. There are some things that don't. Goldeneye. I've never watched that and been like, not as good. My
So
first
good.
Bond movie I ever saw, For Your Eyes Only. I
Mm,
still just love that movie. There's ones that just don't move,
hmm.
but there's other ones that come and go in appreciation. And
Sure.
a lot of Sean Connery ones, I just, um, it's. I don't want to be one of those people that says it's their age, but I think it's their age. It's the fight scenes lacking, uh, you know, intensity, or they got a little speed up cut frame to make it a little faster, a little trip here and there. It's like.
Sure.
So I always find something to appreciate in all of them, but my
Mhm.
overall enjoyment, I don't know. So Doctor No, it went up because I
Okay.
never revisited that much, and I think it's a pretty tight, good experience. If you're
Hmm.
introducing someone to James Bond, the first one, it's like they feel like it's a pretty good little, story we got going here, and
Arc.
people coming after him, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. And I was thinking about, obviously we've gotten so much more of the background now having read or reread some books. Um, and I think this movie does nicely, like touching on that without like leaving a viewer wondering about other things. Like I was thinking about that, very early on when they're talking about Bond going to Jamaica. He's like, "Oh, you have to switch your gun after last time it jammed in service and you were injured." And it's like, "Hey, if you've read the books, you really know what they're referencing,
Yeah.
but as a viewer, you aren't going to be lost in some like, oh no, what did they mean?" It's just like,
Yeah,
had
right.
trouble on your last mission and I want you to, carry this gun this time. And it's a cool way to be like, let's teach the audience about guns because James Bond doesn't know about this one because it's new. So I think they did good things there.
Yep. Sorry, I lost your audio for a minute. It was
Oh,
me.
that's okay.
Headphones just decided to drop out or something. So, um,
That's
okay,
okay.
I got it. Yes, um, I agree with what you're saying about the like. It's just in the middle of somewhere. We understand as a book reader now, but like it wouldn't bother the audience or whatever. Just in the middle of something. Let's see. Well, I took some other notes about. Let's see. Were there any other like you know? Let's see. But well, I suppose before that, like overall impressions of the book. We got impressions of the movie here. We talk about impressions of the book, and then like where it really varied, where it really changed.
Ooh. Um, I think overall, I really enjoyed a lot of the more tense scenes in the book more. There were several instances where the movie just didn't quite capture the intensity. Um, there were several attempts on his life, like in the movie we have like the spider crawling into his bed. In the book, you just get so more in his head, and the terror of you can't move a muscle. Do I think Sean Connery did a great job? Yes, but it felt over so soon. And in the books, it's just like, oh my God, it's unbearable that you can't move because, and it goes on for pages and pages. So, things like that were small. I felt little pangs of absence. Other things that were bigger, I was thinking about like honestly, the character of Dr. No himself. He gets so much more in the books. There's so much more understanding of his reasoning behind things, his methods, his intellect. I felt like, the movie spent a really long time building us up to meet him, and then we got something really short.
Sure.
And I was disappointed by that.
Okay.
And we got something really short too in terms of his like punishment for Bond after, Bond falls short of his expectations. We didn't get to see the master planning genius of Dr. No, where he's like, he takes his time. I've built a hotel to cover, a real hotel to cover like my operations here. It like people don't know what I do here. I've built this like crazy obstacle course that I've sent countless people through, and now I'm going to send you because I'm just sort of interested about what the human body can endure, and can you do it? And it just so much of that takes time, and we didn't get that in the movie. So I felt that absence.
Yep. I agree. I really liked this book. To me, from memory, I think this is my favorite Bond book thus far.
Ooh. Okay.
So like Alan sent us the list here. So
yeah.
I still sadly have not read Casino Royale because I was gifted a book later on. So we went back the one and read Live and Let Die.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Then Moonraker.
Yep.
Diamonds Are Forever. From Russia with Love. And now Dr. No. And so yeah, of those, I've liked this one the most. And so I can kind of see them choosing to start with this movie. Take this book.
It's a great story.
Yeah. But they don't, and I wrote in my notes, like, I feel like they could really do this novel justice today if they did a period piece of this book.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I enjoyed in this book feeling the heat of Jamaica. Like, I felt the stickiness, the sticky nights. You mentioned like the centipede in the bed. That was a very well written, very harrowing sort of moment. Love that. There was also, yes, the torturing things, the obstacles was really grueling. That was like,
yeah,
that was quite the test. And then I don't know if it translates quite as well to a movie and how they have done them these days to battle a giant like squid at the end necessarily.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a shark, or I don't know.
Right. I did think about that too. Like it was a little weird, especially because it was like some sort of cage match almost, because he's like on like this like wire fencing thing trying to stay above the squid. Like that would feel a little weird, like arena, man versus squid. But I'm sure they could, like you said, think of something. There could be an alternate. There could be, I don't know, some sort of similar something.
And maybe let's just embrace it. Maybe let's just do that.
Embrace the weird.
Yeah. I mean, hey, there are giant squids and they get hungry. He's like kept in sort of a pen or something that the prey gets let into. And so he's going to come and eat the prey now, eat his new meal. And Bond has to stab him.
I think, I remember reading that and feeling it was a little ridiculous. But it sort of worked because you were steeped in the realism of the other parts of the Gauntlet, like the parts where like he had to avoid this intense heat and his skin was burning, or like his shoulder got ripped out of his socket, or like he passes out because this thing that Dr. No has built is just that exhausting and that physically draining, so he like keeps pushing through, but there are times when he's just like, my body gave out. I'm still alive somehow, but my body just was like, time out.
Yep.
So yeah. So the squid felt a little ridiculous, but the rest of it felt really real.
Also, the just in general, the time on the island, like it takes some time. Like the tension, I feel of them escaping, and like camping out, eating their little bit of rations and stuff, and then like, and then
hiding.
Yeah, and then Ursula Andress, Honey, she
Honey
is.
Rider,
I like her way more in the books. We get to know more about her, and she is really kind of a sweet character. And I like the relationship that Bond forms with her. She's sort of like, it's like reluctant to begin with, she's sort of like this naive younger woman and stuff, but like there's the promise of helping her out. And I don't know, I like that there was way more depth there than what we had time for in the movie. And
and I think a lot more logical development to her character in the books. She's like a native of the area in the books, and this one she's like, my dad is a marine zoologist, so we moved around a bunch, and it's just kind of like, that's a random detail that I don't think needed to be changed. So you get more of her like, I know this place locally, I have the flavor of it, like this is why I can come and go. I don't really bother people. She saves herself several different times because she's like, I can survive on this terrain. I do dangerous things. Like, I don't know. She felt like a fuller character in the books. And I didn't see that in the movie. It really needed to be changed that much, other than I think it was just for like James Bond saving the damsel effect.
Yeah, maybe it's expediency. I just like they just, we like when they're camping, they take barely any time. In the book, they spend some time having this conversation, and stuff, and,
right,
before they go to sleep and everything, and find out about each other. And I get it. What are you going to have in the movie and stuff? How much time are you going to take up with that? But we get a nice, cool hour 50 runtime with this movie. But I'm often not the person that's like, oh, the book is so much better than the movie. Like I appreciate both for what they are, but I really did like this book a lot more than the movie. It didn't help that I just think this is the best one so far. And it was an interesting, like the opening is so good too. I think the way that, where they set
book
the
or
scene
movie?
and we in the book. And, and the movie's similar, but it just feels less dramatic and intense. They don't burn down the place like they do in the book. And I was just thinking, again, if that was done today by competent people, that could be a really cool opening as well. And Bond's sent there on holiday in the book. And so it's like a chill thing, but he's there's a sort of the dramatic nature of Bond, like, oh, I'm injured or whatever, so you're just sending me off on holiday now, like, so he is this little bit of a thing between him and M. And I don't know, I like all that stuff.
That's funny because I actually liked the movie version a little bit better in terms of I liked the book's opening better, killing the agent Strangway. But so like the inciting incident I thought was better in the book, but I always found it weird that M was just like, yeah, he just like probably ran away with his secretary, so you're really going there on a holiday. Like I always just felt that was really weird and cavalier of M, who is the head of MI6, to just be like, I think this is all just like neatly wrapped up in a bow, but I'm gonna send you there.
Sure.
So I appreciated in the movie he was like, this is weird. We need you to go look into this, because that felt
Sure.
more like the responsible head of MI6 to me.
Sure.
So yes.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
did I sort of miss that like internal James like resentment and like, tension between
Mhm.
him and M? I did. But for the sake of the movie, I was just like, that's so much neater and less
Yep.
weird for his character.
And Felix was not in the book, right? I'm just
No, he's mentioned in the book, but he is not
okay.
physically present as far as I remember,
Yeah.
because I think he's mentioned because he was there the last time Bond came to Jamaica in the books. But since this is our first movie, I think they added him in.
Well, there was a different guy that was sort of his contact point in Jamaica that he was talking to when he was there in Live and Let Die. No, yeah, Live and Let Die.
Yeah, Live and Let Die.
Um, see, yes, I think that's what it is. Yep. Live and Let Die. So he has, I don't remember what the guy's name is, but he is some local to Jamaica that knows all this
Yeah.
stuff, and he kind of runs the division down there and stuff. And so Bond is excited to see him again in this
Right.
one when he goes back. And they just like replaced him with Felix,
Right.
which is fine, but we get Felix later. So
And Let Die book. Because I thought like he did in the books. Yeah, Live and Let Die, he meets up with Felix. Because that's the one where they like jump around to like all those different locations. They're like in
right,
New
but then
Orleans and they're in Jamaica and they're in, you know what I mean? They're like in 12 different places together.
but Felix is fed to a shark in that one.
Yes.
That's the one where they take from License to Kill in the movie.
Yes.
The other way around, but the movie takes
Right,
from
right.
that. But
And then I think I think they were just trying to like get some sort of setup, but in Live and Let Die, doesn't Bond already have met with Quarrel before? And that was another change in this one where like this is like the first time he meets Quarrel. I thought
that's what I can't remember. That's possible.
Yeah, it does get a little muddy.
Alan's saying Captain Dexter, but I don't remember the Quarrel's in the book. Yeah, in this one for sure.
Yeah,
we're just wondering about Live and Let Die, though. Oh, yes. Okay, Live and Let
yeah, yep.
So there must be the guy that runs. He works for the government, and he says, "Hey, Bond, go and..."
Sure.
Yeah,
because I remember in Dr. No, Quarrel is the one who like shows him around the island, and he's like, "Oh, I got like this friend who runs a supper club,
Yes,
and it's just like him and Quarrel. It's not like other people." Pussfeller, yeah.
Pussfeller, yeah. I'm like, I don't know I don't know what kind of name that is. That's like that's Lucifer's pet cat, Pussifer.
No, that that just reminded me of, because you put the two together, Lucifer and Pussycat. It reminded me of the cat from the animated Cinderella, Lucifer.
Oh,
that's
okay.
all I can think of. But yeah, because I just remember in the book, Quarrel is the one taking him around to all the places, and Felix was not there.
Yep. And I liked that relationship. So that's why I was like, to me, it's like when their first quarrels, not sure. It was just, they changed that whole thing where it's like, okay, we saw you with the other people, and so we had to follow you and like make sure you were who you said, all this sort of thing. I'd preferred it in the book, is all. So
yeah, there were a couple of things that I thought could have been probably tightened or cut from the first part of the movie to make room for, I think, the back end of the movie where it got a little bit short shrift. Like we could have probably done without Felix Leiter. I think maybe he was there for like a throw out to an American audience, having the CIA there. Yeah. Which is, maybe like a flaw for your first Bond movie. And then I thought like that nightclub scene Um, the photographer chick, I know it was in the book, but I sort of felt like they did it halfway. I could have done without
Okay.
her because in the book she's very like, I'm part of this whole, network for Dr. No, and like it plays into like the politics of the island where there's like this whole network of like Chinese descent or like half Chinese descent individuals who are like fighting for their place, and they're all kind of following Dr. No, and they're kind of like rising up. And it's an issue on the island.
Yep.
And you don't have time for that in the movie.
Right.
So I sort of could have left her and maybe done something else, like expanded Honey's background or, expanded Dr. No's. So
Yep.
these are minor things. They are not major flaws, but thinking about how much I like the book, I would have spent my time elsewhere.
Yeah. I get why they had the two examples, they spelled it out. They're like, one guy takes a cyanide pill and the other one is willing to get her arm broken. Who puts that?
Right.
Like, that was the point of them, obviously. But
Right.
I did like the kind of secretary that he catches snooping, and that how I just like this.
And Professor Dent, they were also like not in the book.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That was very different. But I like that whole bit, like he knows that that she's lying, obviously, and like, I kind of like that whole sequence of stuff. So,
I mean, they really needed to figure out if they weren't going to do, which I understand once again why this wouldn't translate to cinema, if they weren't going to do this whole like endangered bird and bird guano fuel. It's not sexy, so I get it. Like, it's not, made for movies to do. So they needed something else to be going on at the island. So Professor Dent is a geologist. There were rock samples instead of bird samples. Sure. Yeah. But yeah, they were definitely characters of invention for the movie.
Yep. Okay. I mean, I don't know what else there's to say, I just, it's been a little bit since I read the book, but just stands out as like the best one to me so far. Just very harrowing and very, I don't know. I could feel Jamaica. I liked it. Bond really was put through it. That was all good. We didn't have any time spent explaining how it goes bidding at a racetrack or something for a whole chapter.
God, the worst. The worst.
Like it was really like absent of those kind of holdups.
Yes.
So that was great. I don't know.
What about the movie? Did you feel any like nostalgia for classic Bond hallmarks? Like, this is the first time, that this like archetype of what becomes Bond in film is happening.
Right. I mean, I was interested in how immediately they set up the flirtatious relationship with Moneypenny. Like, that was hardcore
so
straight away,
And so good. Their chemistry was fire. Like, it was good. They had good banter.
Yeah. And I could see like audiences at that point thinking, oh, well, that's going to go somewhere.
Little do you know.
Yeah. The introduction of Bond is still really freaking cool. Like, that's a great scene still, like you take the time, he's winning the cards and the lights a cigarette. James Bond is very good. I mean, there's a reason that's will be shown forever in cinema history things. It's a moment. So that's cool.
Connery does well with that too. That's a hard line. It's so short to deliver so much meaning and become so iconic.
The different, he's wearing nice, good suits throughout. So I guess that's a thing that continues. Felix Leiter's sunglasses were awful. I hate those sunglasses
Were.
with a passion.
Oh, they were bad.
Other things that like we talked, the theme immediately stood out. Obviously, like nowadays you would save the Bond theme for big moments, and this is
It was
like I'm
everywhere
walking
in
through
the
the
beginning.
casino, yeah, just
I'm
walking
coming
through.
into MI6. I just set down my
Mhm.
hat. Like so much. They righted the ship by the end, but in the
Yeah.
beginning you could just tell they were like everywhere.
Yep. Yeah. How about you? Is there things that you really?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talked about some major beginning moments. I
Yeah.
was kind of thinking about obviously the introduction of his quartermaster, however
Mm.
slight that is. It's like the first time he gets like a new weapon. We get the Walther.
Well,
So
this is the
that's
weapons
fun.
expert. Different guy.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like it's the genesis of
Yeah. Mhm.
because it's not like a character in the first one. They're just, doing a
Right.
thing, but it's like I can see where it's going. Um yeah, obviously we have all of our Bond girls in the plural. Um yeah, one other thing, like at the end, I thought James had some good one-liners that weren't, too cheesy, but I could see people being like, "Ooh, people really responded to that, little
Okay.
pithy comment here and
Mhm.
there." So I was just like, I could see that becoming his hallmark. And then, of course, the end, when
Yes.
he's
Yeah.
getting
Which
a
I
toe
was
and
like,
then like, let's go on
Mhm.
the rope. I was like, dude, that's so inconsiderate. They're going to have to come back for you, you
I
jackass.
if I was Felix, I'd be on the megaphone, be like, "We're not coming back. That's it.
Yes.
Do
Yes.
what you want. You're stuck."
Yep.
Because yeah, it's
Enjoy
not
floating
cool.
out here. I hope you have provisions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't wear yourselves out too much. You'll die faster.
Yep. But yeah, all very like, what would become hallmarks of, the end where he's with the girl and somebody's like, "Oh, James, you
Yep.
devil, you." So
Yep.
it was fun to see like the first.
Yeah. And all the like, you know, having the women for the bad guys he's gonna take advantage
Mhm.
of to get like that's probably pretty crazy for the time at the moment,
Yeah.
in cinema history is probably like, oh wow, um
Yeah, I mean, they weren't shy about some things. Obviously, there were, a lot of women and a lot of sexy times,
mhm.
both of the good and bad variety. But then also, like a lot of people died in this movie. James
Yep.
Bond really killed a lot of people.
Yep. Hmm.
So it was kind of like shot, like with what we were shown today in violent television and the way that people die, and it's much more detailed and gruesome. The body count in this movie was still like really high, and I just sort of
Hmm.
took note of it as a like he killed like 5 or 6 people for
Yeah.
sure, plus potentially others that he just like randomly either knocked out or killed in the melee to escape the island.
Right. That's, I mean, to like this, it could be a pretty intense movie if done now. Like I remarked of like he at one point he's gonna steal the like hazmat suit and he goes to a guy who's gonna take it off and he chokes him. It's like, okay, firstly, that's not a proper choke. That's
No.
not gonna work. But I can see that doing it now, like them showing their real struggle with that. We obviously did that with the Daniel Craig movies. He's like choking on a guy and his feet are twitching and all this sort of thing. And so
Hmm.
it's just yeah, a level of intensity that could be added to a lot of moments here
Yeah.
because the book is rife with cool moments you could do
Hmm.
that with. So
Yeah. And in the movie, they're very like soft, easy deaths, but I still
yeah,
found myself being like, this is a body count.
yeah. At the end, he just like one punch knocks out a guy in a boat, and then his body's just hanging there, and he just throws him overboard and
Yeah,
punches him as they
he's so
drive away, and the place
casual.
explodes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's so casual about so many murders. Like he props the
Mhm.
dead guy up in the car as he rolls into the government house who tries to attack him. He's just like, "Oh, hey, take care of this guy. He's had an exciting day." He's just like murder
Yeah,
just
murder for
happens.
breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
How old do you think Ursula Andress was in this movie?
ooh, do you know?
I From memory, yes. Because I
Okay.
looked it up, I'm pretty sure.
19.
She was 25.
25. Okay, my next guess was going to be
Mhm.
22 if it was going to be older, but I still wasn't.
Yeah. I thought she was quite a lot. I thought she was older. So, because in the book is like, I don't remember how old she's supposed to be, but young. And
Young.
watching the movie, I'm like, I looked it up. It's like, how old is she? She seems mature. And then
Yes.
when I was 25, I was like, I would guess 35. So, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I was trying not to guess too high because I felt like she was older than Honey in the books. Like I could
For
see
sure.
her being older.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be like, oh, she's like 40 when it's like, no, like really, she's
Mhm.
just a little bit older than that. But yeah,
Yep.
she did seem more mature for sure. Except for the one moment where she asks James after she kills the guy who assaulted her. She's like, oh, was I wrong? I was like, that felt like the books.
Right. Yeah. She's of this place, but like naive of the larger
Yeah.
world and things
She's
going
like, I have my morality, but I have a very limited contact. Like, you are a worldly man. Does this fit in the world's morality?
on. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I I want to like you know, do you ever read the books and like, oh, I wish this relationship would hold. I wish this was the one that would like
Oh,
last.
that would be Bond. Like,
Yeah. That they
sure.
actually be together. I mean, obviously we know like there's Tracy Bond and stuff like that, and then Vesper, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this would be an interesting one for sure. It would be hard for me to have it be the one soon because Honey is so young that I would I would want it to be less little bit creepy, like borderline. But it could be really cool later. Yes.
okay. Okay.
Because they do a lot more talking than I think he does with other women.
Sure. Okay. I noticed that Connery's Bond in this movie tied his ties quite short.
Indeed.
Saw that a lot. They were pretty
Hmm.
high up. That was interesting.
That would be something you would note.
Yeah, and then I was just looking at the different suits. There was one suit he had like a dark navy jacket and really dark brown pants or something. That was the sharpest
Hmm.
look in the movie, I thought.
Hmm.
Um, and just like remarked other little details, like he gets in his room, no AC, Jamaica, open things, and he's got ice ready and waiting for him yet for his. No, no, you got to request the ice right then and to get it
Yep.
because it's gonna melt. And
Yep.
and then okay, he takes the towel from the like spy
Oh,
woman, and look, smelling it, all right, but he kind of like chews on it. I'm
or
like,
like
wait a minute,
wipes his
this.
mouth with it or something.
Well, I couldn't tell. To me, it looked like he was like taking a
Or
mouthful of it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. He did something with his mouth. Like
yeah.
whether he was like wiping his mouth or like biting it or something. Creepy, dude. Also, I did have to say that scene was like costumed ridiculously. That when she gets out of the shower and she's wearing that like towel dress thing, that is not real. That was like a terry cloth dress with like a zipper and everything, like, and it was
Because
strapless.
it's so like
No.
form fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It
like,
was
yeah.
that was ridiculous. No woman has ever worn that out of a shower and felt comfortable. Like, this is really drying my body.
Uh,
No.
yeah. Well, I like that she was waiting by the bedside in like a silk robe and high heels. I'm like,
Yes.
it's a good lounge wear in there. So, hmm.
Yeah, Bond must have really wanted to see her because she gave him like 14 different directions to his house when they were on the phone. She was like, "You drive 2 miles down this road, and then it's this turn, and then it's that
Once you
turn." And
hit
I was
the
like,
pavement, yeah.
"Yeah," I was like, "This is no. Why didn't you just meet him? Why don't you stick
Yep.
to the original plan, girly?"
Because you
I
got
mean,
to
I
go
know
out
it's
in the
for
middle of
I know.
nowhere so you can, yeah.
So you can off him. I get
Yep.
it. But also, I just was listening to that phone call like too many steps.
Pre, pre GPS and all that sort of thing.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Um, Also, reading the book, I totally thought of the centipede sent to kill Anakin Skywalker in episode 2. I was absolutely like, this is where they stole that scene
Yes.
from.
Yes.
So no one
Yes.
jumped in with the lightsaber to cut it off, like,
Exactly. Exactly. Bond just had to wait. Oh my
yeah.
God. I feel like also that was creepier for me in the books because like centipedes with their 1,000 legs are just creepier than,
Yeah,
I mean, spiders are creepy, but like
right.
so many
You had
more
one on
legs.
you. Yeah.
So many more legs and so many more like I feel like moments that you would shudder or move because there's so many more contact points.
You're feeling it
Yeah,
right now, aren't you?
I am. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Okay. Well, that's unless I'm missing something, that's Dr. No,
Mhm.
the movie and the book.
Mhm. Both good.
Yeah, both good, but new bar set for me on Bond novels.
Yeah, book on tap for sure.
Yeah. The next book is Goldfinger, which
Mhm.
we were hoping to get to last year because last year was an anniversary year for Goldfinger. It didn't
Yes.
happen. I'm like halfway through the book. I still have I'm having this issue of like I didn't remember the Doctor No movie so much that reading the book didn't even remind me and stuff of moments
Sure.
that when I watched the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this, but I didn't even think of it reading the book. And with Goldfinger, I just keep having the movie in my mind right now, and
Mhm.
I don't know,
It's so iconic.
it's really slowed my progress reading it for whatever reason. So
Mhm. I get it. I get it. Goldfinger was I think my first Bond and
I
it
feel
it
like you've said
left
that before, yeah.
yep, it left an impression. So it is very hard to read the book without,
Mhm.
getting to the movie. So I totally get it.
Yeah. But so hopefully we get to that. And then we have this year, the anniversary, I think on like Friday now or whatever, within a week or something, is the actual 40th anniversary of A View to a Kill.
Yeah.
We've already gone past one anniversary, maybe. But we have Goldeneye this year and Spectre and
Good.
Thunderball.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
so, um, yeah, after Goldfinger, 2 more books after that's Thunderball for the books. But probably just be doing some movie reviews too. So whatever order you want to do any of these, if we get
Sure.
in this year, for sure, you know, Thunderball, Goldeneye,
We have to
View
do
to a Kill.
Goldeneye.
Yeah. I've been
I
putting that
mean,
one out. I mean, over the last couple of years, you can tell how many times, how many Bond movies I've been rewatching and stuff. I have
mhm.
not touched Goldeneye. Not touched
Oh
it.
god. It's
I'm
so
saving it.
good. It's
So
so good. Yeah. No, we have to do it. It's so good. That's when I would watch like all the time. I would rewatch anytime, all the time.
see, I can't do it now. Like I need to try to save, you know, save and savor the
Sure.
best
I mean,
movies.
it's fun when you've been away from it for a while. Like coming back to Doctor No was really fun because I hadn't seen it in so long. but
Yep.
I just want to make the statement about GoldenEye's quality. Like I could watch it anytime because it's so quality.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was bored in a tractor this spring for a bit, and I put on Tomorrow Never Dies, but I couldn't watch it. It was just the audio. I just knew I know
Ooh,
the
that's
movie so
hard.
well that I
Yeah.
just could kind of picture it as it's going along.
Sure.
And
That's funny.
okay, now Alan shares this GIF. Alex Trevelyan. I want to watch it even
Yes.
more. And people have been talking
006.
about the video game too. Like I
Yep.
have this thing. I don't know if I've sent it to you before or whatever about the music in the video game.
Mm-hmm.
How awesome it is, and
Mm-hmm.
man, that was our childhood right there. That was
Absolutely.
came out at the right time. So, okay, well, that's our Bond talk for tonight. That's our podcast for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all that sort of thing. You know, we're Popcast on the Rocks. You can find us on podcast directories like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. A review on Apple Podcasts would be appreciated. Spotify has a video version. They've made some other changes to Spotify too. Like we can do, I could try to put the episode thumbnails, I think, on Spotify episodes now, the individual ones. So there's things like
Nice.
that. And our theme song by Killing the Flower. You can check them out on music streaming services and YouTube. Track _ mouse. That's Mike. This is racing videos. I'll be racing again in a couple weeks. So can look forward to that. And next week, we'll be back with an anime podcast. Probably Sakamoto Days. Maybe Phil will talk us into the anime adjacent show, To Be Hero X or something like that. So,
Somewhere Phil is lifting his head. What?
Yeah.
What John say?
All kinds of stuff like that to look forward to. And then,
Yep.
you know, and I'm eagerly awaiting talking more Andor too. So
I'll try to hurry
no
up.
pressure. No pressure.
I feel none.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everybody. And Andrea, thanks as always. We'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Cheers, everybody.